Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am the Omni Viewer, and I am here to do another toy action figure kind of review. This time for the Kong Skull Island Mega Figure. Yeah, I know I'm probably a little late to this party, but I don't care. Do you care? Don't answer that. Let's just cut right to the chase, shall we? So yeah, maybe the term unboxing doesn't quite apply to this guy, since he's not really in a box. He's just sort of in a cardboard stand that's open because he's very big for a figure. Although I've still seen Star Wars figures taller than this guy, but anyway, neither here nor there. So you can see, pretty standard packaging. He's held in by these little tie things, which will be easily cut. Like so. There's some down around his legs. And pardon me while I just turn him so I can make sure I see what I'm doing. And where's the other one? So only held in by one with a leg. It appears. Oh, hey. Well, folks, it seems this might be a little more complicated than I thought. Give me just a moment. Okay, so it's not as simple as just cutting these things. There's something attaching him to the backboard right here, and I am going to have to damage the box in order to get to it. So I'll try to preserve it as best I can, but okay. As we can now see, there's a little screw right here, which is holding him to the box. Phillips head by the looks of it. So just need to find one that's too small. So you're gonna need a Phillips head screwdriver to get this guy out. The screw is really tight and it's not giving. I think I'm going to just fast forward to when I've actually gotten him out, because this could take a while. And with a nice big screwdriver, that should have done the trick. Yep. There he is in all his glory. Also, since we're here, may as well free the little soldier guy who comes with him. He's just held in a little plastic side case that appears to be taped or something. I'm just gonna cut through it. They really don't want you stealing these things, clearly. Okay, now he's also held in with one of these things, a slightly smaller one, and there's less room to... Alright. Soldier Boy is also free. So, now that Kong is out of the box, we can take a closer look. The full 360, as it were. So, as far as movie accuracy goes, pretty close. I mean, it's not quite spot on to what we see in the movie. Face is just a little bit flatter, if I remember correctly. And as far as the color goes, like, in the movie, Kong is portrayed as being more of a ruddy brown, and this is more of a grayish brown. But otherwise, you know, still a very well-made figure, and certainly one of the bigger, I was going to say one of the bigger Kong figures out there, but To be honest, it's one of the only Kong figures out there. You really can't find that many. I've had one in my display for a while that was a all black version, but it's only like this tall. So, no, this tall maybe. So yeah, this is a significantly bigger figure than that. Our points of articulation, head can turn about that much either direction. So not a whole lot of movement there, but and it doesn't really stay in position. The box itself says, where is it? Aha, on the side it promises chest beating, fully articulated arms. Which of course, you gotta have the chest beating, fully articulated arms. That other figure of Kong I mentioned, his arms could only move this way. That was pretty much it. This guy, arm joints are really impressive. Like, his shoulders can move this way and this way, as well as his elbows, actually. Like, really, there's a joint here and a joint here. If you can see from the back, joint there, joint there. So, yeah, that allows quite a range of movement with his arms. Does break the seam a little, but such is the way of it. This can turn a little bit, not a whole lot. And something interesting to note, right hand is clenched in a fist. Left hand is open. So, like he can hold something. In fact, can he? Not quite, but oh well. So, legs can't move at all. That's kind of surprising, actually. There is no articulation here. Here, I'll move his arms out of the way so you can really see. No articulation at the hips, no articulation at the knees. His feet can turn. Whoop. I'm hoping that wasn't a bad sound. Doesn't seem to have affected the movement. So yeah, his feet can turn, so he can be more balanced, but really that's about it. Kind of surprising. But, you know, this isn't a poorly made figure. It is weird that his legs don't move at all, but then again, there is also the possibility that if his legs could move, the joints would get loose, and considering he's supposed to balance on these 2 feet, that they would just not allow him to stand at all. And that wouldn't be good, because you want to have this guy be able to stand. So, as such, the legs are positioned in such a way that it does allow for sturdy movement. Oh, and this is interesting. Bottom of his feet are actually articulated. Not articulated, detailed. I mean, they didn't have to do that, but it's neat that they did. So yeah, this Kong is a sturdy figure. He's not gonna fall over easily. Maybe if you push him this way, he can fall easily, but push him that way, yeah, he's pretty stable. Now, some attention must be paid to the soldier. The bazooka he's got is apparently attached to his hand, not like welded to it, but there's some of that little stringy stuff around it. So, give me a second to just work that off. It's really annoying. Hang on, I think I can cut it if I'm careful. Yep. Alright. So, I don't know who this guy's supposed to be. I do not recognize him from the movie at all. He's definitely not Samuel L. Jackson, because that figure comes with a skull crawler. So, let's see. I guess he's just a generic soldier in an action pose. And his head can turn to the side about that far to the left. And whoa. okay, really far to the right. He's practically an owl in that regard, but can't go any further than that. Arms have the full 360-degree range of motion. And like I said, he can hold the rocket launcher in either hand. And I noticed there's this random peg on the gun and this random hole on his back right here. So I'm thinking, yeah, that allows you to store it on his back, like so. Yeah, it makes more sense to store it this way. And detail on this guy is not bad. I mean, most of him isn't painted. You've got the paintings on the front that distinguish the pouches and the grenade and the belt and the gun strap. On the back, though, all flat green. So, not exactly... This is clearly a character meant to be seen from the front. And this part of his belt and this bit of his headband are designed to permanently be out so he always looks like he's in an action pose. And again, much like Kong, his legs do not move. But again, like Kong, he's positioned in a way that he's sturdy, he's stable. However, he's not exactly scale to this Kong. Maybe if this were the Dino De Laurentiis Kong, but not to the 100-foot tall Monsterverse Kong. And speaking of the Monsterverse, you guys all remember the Jakks Pacific giant-sized Godzilla, right? Now, these characters aren't necessarily to scale either, at least not yet. In Kong Skull Island, you'll recall that Kong is only 100 feet tall, whereas Godzilla is like very nearly 400, 350 feet tall, I believe. But allegedly Kong is still growing, so he might get to be this tall eventually. So, interesting coincidence. And considering these are from different companies, mind you. But yeah, lining the two up next to each other, even knowing they're not quite to scale with each other for 100% movie accuracy, still really cool looking. I mean, think about it. These two monsters will be in the same movie at some point. That is gonna be so cool. And as far as like comparing the two figures goes, I'd have to say Kong has more detail. Like, when you really look at him all over, his fur is very clearly sculpted, face very clearly sculpted, and, you know, even the bottom of his feet, like I mentioned. Sculpted, detailed, the detail's good, but not necessarily the best articulation outside of the arms. Godzilla doesn't have that great of a detail. Like, his face is really detailed, but the rest of him, you can tell, like, they didn't fully define each and every scale. It's very soft and muted in a way. Even the spines are not that big compared to how they were in the movie, but much more articulation. He can move his arms, his hands, his legs, his feet, his head, his mouth, his tail even, which isn't in the shot because it's so darn long. But you know, I think they kind of balance each other out. And like I said, I cannot wait for this crossover to happen. So there you have it. King Kong, Godzilla, and one poor defenseless human. This is going to be interesting as we see this story develop. But for now, I know exactly where these guys are going. So, that's all for now. Until such time as we meet again, this is the Omni Viewer, signing off.
Roar!
What? You do this too, don't deny it.